On Two Wheels this week, Nick Sanders tells us of his forthcoming round-the-world bike race. And Wayne and I take a ride on a German-built trike. But first, lots of fun at an exhaust factory. Okay then, a question for you. What's the most popular aftermarket accessory for any motorcycle? Answer, dead easy. One of these, an aftermarket exhaust. You can pay anything from just over £100 to £500, £600, even £700 now for one of these, depending on what you want it to look like, what you want it to sound like, and what you want it made out of. And there's loads of people at it now. Think of the names around these days. You've got Micron, Scorpion, Hytera, Blue Flame, Carbon Can Company, the list goes on and on. Well, we've come to the Quill factory here in Lancaster where they make these, and we're going to show you exactly how they do it. And all the work starts here behind me in the dyno room. That's where they do all the research and development.
It does indeed start here. This is where all the R&D is done. This is the rolling road bit. Now, why do they have a rolling road like this, you might ask? Well, it saves going out onto the open road and doing hours and hours out there. They come in here, fasten a bike onto here, run the bike and get all the information fed down onto computer, which is over here. The advantage of obviously using computers and so on means they get accurate information, so they can develop the can so it's just the right weight, the right back pressure, the right performance, and not too noisy. Everything they need to know. Once all this is done, of course, then they've got to produce the thing, and that's done back in the factory behind me. So the next bit is to go into the factory where Paul is, and when Paul's around and doing a bit of talking, you've got to wear ear defenders.
You know, he's such a cheeky little biker, that Wayne, he really is. But how on earth do we get to that, the finished product? Well, it's made out of metal, of course, so it's a tube, it's a metal tube like that. It's just like a kid's TV programme, this, isn't it? Except there's no sticky back plastic involved. So we need a tube. Well, it's metal. Starts off like that. A flat sheet of metal, which needs to be bent round, just like that, to form a tube. And just over there, there's a man doing just that. Oh, Spyforce, gonna go and catch him in the billboard.
That was probably the worst Tommy Cooper impression I've ever seen. No, we won't go there. Right, so the guy's going to roll that piece of flat sheet into this, a form of tube. But it's not yet a tube, it's not stuck together here. And they don't use glue or anything as daft as that. No, they've got to weld it. But they've got to do a real neat weld. And you need a master to do so. And Andy behind us, who's actually the man behind the company, he's doing the welding at the moment. I've got my eye protection on. So, you know, I've got the right gear.
Okay, so now we've got a tube welded together, but that in itself doesn't make an exhaust can, does it? There's lots of other bits and pieces that need to be made, manufactured and fitted to it. Things like this, the end caps, all different shapes and sizes. ZX400 there, CB400 there, we've got Suzuki Bandit, TL1000. Different dimensions, different diameters, holes in different places. They've all got to be individually produced. And then we've got the nice shiny bits, the bits that we all like looking at, the bits that stick out the back. Here we go, stainless steel again, pressed out that and highly polished. That's one there for an oval can. And it finishes up like that, of course. That's pressed into there, it's welded underneath and it's sealed. And that's what Carl's doing over here.
So, just to recap, we started life with that, a piece of metal. And it was rolled and then welded together to make that, the tube. These end caps were specially made and polished up to look beautiful. But that in itself doesn't make the exhaust can, because obviously it would be decidedly noisy. So we need to put stuff on the inside to quieten it down. And that's where this comes into it. That is a piece of stainless steel perforated tube. Stainless steel wire wool on the outside, and that's tack welded to stop it moving. That then is covered by this fiberglass wadding. And the reason they use this stainless steel wire wool here, that's to stop the fiberglass burning away, so it lasts a long time. Those have got to be stuffed into that tube, literally. And there's an art to doing that, and I haven't got it, but a man over there has.
Well, I hope you realise now why we didn't let Wayne do that. It's quite an involved job, isn't it, packing one of these, putting it together, drilling the holes, riveting it and finishing up with a nice finished exhaust like that. This is actually a stainless steel one. It could easily have been carbon, it could have been titanium, multicoloured, whatever you like really. Also, you've probably noticed that this is a round exhaust. It could have been an oval one. And do you know that an oval exhaust actually starts life as a round one? It's the same tube as this, same tube as that. It just has an oval end on it and it pulls it into an oval shape. But what if you can't decide whether you want a round one or whether you want an oval one? A bit like him, you never know what you want, do you?
Never sure what I want at all. No, I don't know what you're trying to say actually. But I want to show you this. Look at this. This one. It's round at one end, oval at the other. Was the manufacturer confused, you might ask? Oh no, been done specially. This has been designed specially for a Honda Hornet. Now you probably noticed as we went round the factory, everything is hand produced. And the advantage with that, of course, is they can create them perfectly for every individual bike, allowing this for the Honda Hornet to fit perfectly. It fits at one end with the oval, and that stops the footrest being interfered with, and round at the other end. Absolutely perfect, just for the job. And then when obviously the whole things are finished and created, then they're boxed. And then you get them finished like that, ready to be dispatched out to you and the dealer. And in fact, Paul, I don't know if you noticed, this one's for a Phaser 1000.
I did notice that, mate,
wouldn't that be just a coincidence? You're using one of those at the moment.
Just a jobby, mate.
Well, hang on a minute, you're not going to get away with this lightly. Let's have a look. Oh, a Yamaha R1. Oh, thank you very much. Anyway, check's in the post, Andy. All right, cheers, mate.
Nick, up until now, we've covered everything that's sort of done in the past, but I know that you've got another thing up your sleeve, another madcap. Well, that's a bit unkind, isn't it, to say madcap, but it seems it to me. What's this latest world challenge thing that you're doing?
Well, it's called the Motorcycle World Challenge, and it's very much based on what Shea Blythe's been doing with, with the BT Global Challenge, taking yachters around the world on a competitive basis. Teams of people who've never yachted before will go around the world. Well, I want to do the same thing with motorbikers. And it's the Nick Sanders Motorcycle World Challenge. The brochure's just about to come out. We're launching it throughout March and April. There's a website telling everyone about it, nicksanders.com. Yeah. And the
nice little plug, yeah.
Well, the idea really is to take 12 teams of 3 riders to compete against each other around the world. 27 countries, 18,000 miles, 5 continents, 4 mountain chains, 5 deserts. It goes on and on. It's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. I think if after 20 years of riding around the world and 20 years of the kind of experience of travelling that I've got, I don't know, maybe 80 countries now, Jeff. Yeah. I want to put all that experience into doing this and to taking a whole group of riders around the world, and they'll benefit from it. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, that in itself is going to be a massive task. What you're going to sort of launch this thing and publicise it, and who are these people going to be? Are you expecting them to sort of come flocking and knocking on your door? I want to come. I want to come.
I don't know really. I mean, there's going to be quite a selection procedure. Yeah. People apply with special application forms and stuff like that, and I've got to decide, along with 2 or 3 other people who are very experienced travellers as well, decide whether they're the right people, if you like, psychologically for it.
I was going to say, you tend to get psychiatrists, don't you, on these things as well?
You mean nutters, don't you? Yeah.
Are you going to interview them or what?
Yes, it'll be me and a couple of other good people who I know who are very experienced at this sort of thing. Well, it's hard to say really. I suspect that I do Moroccan trips, and that's 4,500 miles. I've done 2 trips to North America. Each of those were nearly 14,000 miles. So I've been rather used to taking riders on long distance tours already.
Have you selected people for those, or have they just said, "Oh, I'd like to come on your tour. Here's my check," or whatever?
Yeah, I do select them. They do fill application forms, which is 6-page, and it's quite intense.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't take anyone, but at the same time, I give everyone a fair chance. A good crack at the whip. I want to really know whether I think they're right for it or not. Yeah. So they're given a fair chance to come along.
What do you think are the sort of really important things that the number one priorities? I mean, is it sort of a physical ability, mental, or what is it? I mean, they've got to ride a motorbike for a start off, but I mean, is it all these personal qualities you're more interested in? Is it all?
Yeah, I really want to keep cool and calm and collected when things get hard, because you get to places like India and you just cannot be hot-headed there. No. You've got to really be collected there, and keep your own counsel, so to speak. I mean, when you're riding sort of up to 1,000 miles occasionally each week, as we will be doing on a particular day. I mean, there'll be several days will be 400 miles a day. One day will be 1,000 miles, and there'll be a couple of days off. You know, people are going to get tired.
Yeah.
You know, this is all part of the competitive nature of what is going to be billed as the toughest expedition on Earth.
When is this actually going to start then? When do you hope to take off?
Well, there's a lot to do yet. I mean, the brochure comes, as I say, shortly.
Yeah.
I've got 18 months really to prepare the whole project. Several more long distance touring projects to do. I mean, I'm still learning the ropes about how to take people around the world. No one's done it before, so no one can really tell me how to do it. So I'm learning the hard way.
Yeah. But it'll be 2002.
Definitely,
anyway.
and towards the end of 2002. We're looking at somewhere between August and November.
Yeah. Look, you've got your big book there. Look a bit like Michael Aspel.
Gosh, yes. Well, Jeff, this is your life. Here we are.
But what I was interested, if I came on this trip with you, we'd start in good old England, good old Brighton.
Yeah, we'd be down in England, across Europe to Istanbul, fly over to Bombay. Yeah. We've got a problem around Kurdistan here and Iran, so we'll start again in Bombay. The next leg will take us up to across the Thar Desert to Rajasthan and Jaisalmer, and then to Delhi, over to Nepal, and then round to Kathmandu, then down to Calcutta.
So you ride through the Alps then, do you?
Yeah, through the Alps, well, yes, more or less, that sort of thing, yeah.
The Himalayas. That's a good start, wasn't it? Himalayas, yes.
Yeah, the Himalayas, and then from Calcutta over to Bangkok, down through Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. Then we'll fly from here to Perth. Then we're going to go right up to Darwin, and then down through Alice Springs, Adelaide, Melbourne, then right round Tasmania, over to Sydney, and then to Christchurch, then right round the whole of New Zealand here. Then we're going to fly over the Pacific and come to Los Angeles, down to Baja California, then up into Mexico City, and then back up through the southern states of the US to New York. And then finally we're going to come to Lisbon, and then back down into Morocco, the Atlas Mountains, the edge of the Sahara Desert, then back up through Europe.
So Nick, you're back home. How long's all this going to take?
Well, the whole thing should take about 90 days, 18,000 miles in 90 days, yeah.
Another interesting thing, well, it is to me, right on cue. You're now a family man. What are you doing tearing off on these things? I mean, what does the family think? What does Henrietta think of this?
Well, she's great, you know, she lets me carry on doing these things, you know, so, and sometimes she comes with me, you know, it's really good.
but I mean, has she got an opinion of her own on this?
Flipping out, you better ask her. She got an opinion, wow.
Henrietta, thanks very much for coming along, and you brought little one with you, young Juno, yeah?
That's right, he's one.
Yeah, and Juno Jupiter. Nothing to do with Jupiter's travels. Have I said the wrong thing there?
He is a traveller, He's been in a bike and sidecar all over Europe.
Has he? Oh, so he's getting a good apprenticeship.
That's right.
How do you feel about Nick doing these disappearing acts and going off for all this time?
Well, I would say to him it's quite nice really if he goes away for at least 6 months a year. But last year was a bit too much, he was away all year. So that was a little bit too much.
Was it? Yeah, but a bit more than you could take. And
That's right.
What do you do while he's away? Well, perhaps you shouldn't pry into your private life.
That's all right.
Do you end up running the Sanders Empire while he's
I do a little bit of the money side of things because Nick's very good at many things but not very good at that. But no, we travel together quite a lot. We're going to India actually.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
With the bike and sidecar.
Yeah.
This December.
Wow, fantastic. And if the weather's going to be like this, it'll be fantastic. If it's snowy, you're going to wrap up nice and warm just like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I better leave you to get back in.
And still to come in part 2, something completely different. Wayne and I are let loose on a German trike.
Hello, Paul. Listen, I just want to air a grievance, mate. So I've been road testing these scooters of recently, fair enough, and you give me a 125cc version. But I did say I want something bigger. Now, what's this you've stitched me up with? Okay, 1600cc fuel injection. That's fair dinkum. But, you know, I'm not happy.
You don't need to shout.
Oh, hello, mate. How are you doing? I'm not happy, cock.
What's up? 1600 big and you want something big? Fuel injected this?
Yeah, fair enough, but I wanted a motorcycle.
This is a trike.
I can see that.
You know that, do you?
Oh, I've noticed.
10 out of 10 for observation. It is indeed a trike. And we've got 3 trikes with us here today. Now, we've featured trikes in the past on our programme. You might recall we went down to South Wales and featured a couple of different trikes. We had a Suzuki Marauder and we had a Hayabusa. They really started life off, well, they did actually start life off as motorcycles, and they were triked. They were turned into a trike. This really is a different story today. Are you paying attention to this?
I listen to your every word, mate.
Good.
Take absolutely no notice, but I listen. And you may remember that Jeff of recent has in fact road tested a car, but a car with a bike engine, a Hayabusa engine. Well, this is different in respect that this is a motorcycle with a car engine, a Volkswagen Beetle engine.
I mean, you've been doing your homework, haven't you?
Oh, aye.
These are different. In fact, the thing with these is, these are production machines. You can open a catalogue, look at a nice picture of this and say, yes, please, I'll have one of them. Now, if you thought that trikes weren't popular, then try telling that to the distributors based in Bolton, Lancashire. Their brochure points out that Boom have been around for 10 years, during which time they've sold over 5,000 trikes.
Now, we must have created some interest already, having seen these on the road. They are fascinating machines, but what exactly are they? Well, a trike with a Volkswagen Beetle engine, and you can have a 1200cc right the way through to an 1800cc injection model. Well, I mean, that's obviously going to kick out a whole load of power. So they are indeed like a car in respect that you use a car licence, but you ride them like a bike. You've got your handlebar controls here. Just like a car, you've got a dashboard, and on the tank here, it's got gauges, it's got an oil pressure gauge, a rev counter, even got a petrol gauge and the usual thing. It starts like a car. You stick your key in it and turn it a little further, it sparks it up into action. They're just like Honda Go Wings in my eyes, in respect that although they're a production machine, it's true to say that you never see two of the same Go Wings ever, because people put a whole load of accessories on, and that'll be exactly the same in one of these. You're never going to buy one and not put a load of bolt-on goodies, just like this great big stainless steel bar around here, and the rack on the back. All sorts can be bought for these things. On the way of controlling them, well, it is a half a car, half a bike. You've got foot pedals here with clutch and brake, and you've got a throttle in the hands on the handlebars. Can be a tad confusing when you first get on them. And in fact, somebody you know and I know who gets easily confused is Paul. Yeah. How did you get on with it, Paul?
Very good. I'll give you that way. And I was a bit confused, and it took a little bit of getting to grips too, because as soon as I jumped on this, I went like that and looked for my levers, and there are no levers. There's no clutch lever, there's no brake lever. As Wayne says, yeah, we've got a throttle up on the right hand there where we'd expect to find it, but no levers. So how on earth do you control the thing? Well, we've got pedals, as Wayne says. Left is the clutch, just like a car. Left foot does the clutch and your right foot does the brake. So where's the gears? Well, it's a Volkswagen engine, as we know, a car engine, so we've got a car gearbox down here. 4-speed gearbox, normal 1, 2, 3, 4, normal configuration, and there's a reverse as well, because you can back these up, and believe me, you need to. You can't go shoving these around your drive and spinning them around. There is another brake as well down here. There's a handbrake which you can pull on, but when you pull the handbrake on, if you're in first gear, it cuts the engine out. Now, there is a technical reason for that which I won't go into, but it is a little bit of a pain, especially on a hill start, because you just think when you're on a hill, you've got your handbrake on, you let your handbrake off slowly, you let your clutch out so it's just gripping, and then you'd accelerate up the hill. Dead easy in a car, isn't it? Easy on a bike as well. Not so easy on one of these, because you can't have your handbrake on the hill. So you have to have your clutch in, you have to have your foot brake on, so you've got both feet forward. When you want to take off, you've got to let both feet off together, perhaps let your clutch off a bit faster than you let the brake off, and throttle it at the same time. Very confusing. Takes a little bit of getting to grips with, really, getting used to, but once you get the feel of it and get the hang of it, it really is great fun.
Here we go now.
Here we go, all
Hey, now listen, have you passed your test?
I'm all right. I've had the course.
Don't forget, it's car controls and bike controls.
Where's my
together.
brakes?
You're worrying me.
Where's the clutch?
Hey, up,
oh, get off my leg. Will you sit down?
Stunt Rider!
Sit down.
Big coats, eat your heart out. Here we go now.
You know, the thing about riding trikes is it makes you want to do silly things. Almost makes you want to act daft, and the sight of 2 or 3 of them on the road is certainly enough to turn lots of heads.
Excuse me, driver, can you wind the window down? I want to be sick.
You know, you never really know what's going to come over you when you're riding a trike. You might even get the sudden urge to burst into song.
Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the sea.
So how much will it cost you then if you want to join the triking family? Well, let's start with this one. This is a Wolftrack. It's not a boom trike, but it's owned by the same parent company over in Germany, all really part of the same big trike family. This is the base model. One like this will cost you £9,000. But if you're a bit of a DIY enthusiast, you can actually buy one of these, or any trike really, in kit form, and you can save yourself £1,000 by doing that. And if you like tinkering, I'll just shove this up here out of the way. There. That's where it all goes on there, so you can tuck in there, get your hands dirty and play all day. no acres of plastic bodywork to get rid of, and as I say, save yourself £1,000. They say that one of these can be put together in 16 hours, allegedly, so that's a weekend's work. I don't know whether I could do it in a weekend, but that's what they're saying. You get everything that you'll need in the kit. A little bit more expensive is this one, the yellow one. It's called a family. It's called a family because it's got more seats. You can get 3 people on the back. Bit awkward to climb in, it looks like, doesn't it? But all you do, pull that up there. It's like a fairground ride, like the waltzers, isn't it, eh? The louder you scream, the faster we go. And here we go. Don't be fooled by those filler caps on the petrol tank up there. They're just dummies. The fuel goes in there, underneath the rear seat. All very neat, very nicely put together. One like this, a base version of the family, will cost you £10,000. But this particular one, with all its bolt-on goodies and bits and pieces, its extras, we're up now to about £14,000. But if you want to spend big bucks, you need to be over there where Wayne is, on a low rider.
A low rider? Are you trying to say something there, are you?
Not at all, mate.
Yeah, no offence taken either. So, the bottom line is, this is the big daddy of them all. Starting up front here, it's huge, got a massive big front wheel, and to have that and retain that front wheel, you need big forks. Look at them, 60mm, massive things. Come further back here, you can see it's just oodles of stainless steel. This is the big one because this fella has got a 1600cc engine, fuel injected. It does come with all these fancy panniers and tote bags and everything, and it costs you £16,500. For that though, you've got the potential of 100 mile an hour, and I do believe a free pair of gloves. 16.5 grand. I wonder if I could get that on expenses. Just excuse me a second. Hello, yeah, about me expenses. I might just have to throw a little extra in this month. Hope you don't mind.
Now, Wayne, you have been told to keep your expenses low. Oops, there we go. I've said that word again. But on Two Wheels next week, I spend a day with the South Yorkshire Police Motorcycle Wing. I spend 8 hours with a policeman on my tail.